one of our viewers sent me pictures for an assessment, and she was curious why her nails, her toenails, looked like this. So this is a prime example of why I really don't believe nail polish protects the nails. In fact, I think it can actually contribute to some significant damage. So the viewer agreed to for me to share the parts of this video, and I really appreciate it. And by the way, I just wanted to add that dryness very often gets blamed for this, but nail polish actually raises moisture level in the nails, so it doesn't have the ability to dry the nails. And I came across a very interesting article explaining, and I'm quoting, a significant increase in protein oxidation was observed upon UV exposure, chemical treatments, or use of nail polish. And more in this video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. And one more thing, I promise. This is the last thing. So this video is not all doom and gloom. So I just wanted to say one more positive thing. It seems as if the use of antioxidants actually helps this type of damage. So check out the article and please let me know what you think. So yes, you know what it is? It's a surface damage from the nail polish. And I love to see your example. And this is why I often kind of think that my advice can be very helpful for people, because you are doing all the right things and you think you're not seeing progress because you don't I guess understand what the progress is, because people are hoping that this area will improve. So for example, it doesn't, because this is damaged and the new nail is not getting damaged. So if you haven't had a nail polish for 2 months, this is going to grow out and then you will not have damaged nail. So think of it this way. Every month you try to lighten your hair, okay? And then you're using bleach, very strong peroxide. So your hair is damaged. It's going to be more damaged on the ends and less damaged here. But the roots, after 2 months, are not going to be damaged. So when you expect, let's say you say, okay, I don't want to damage my hair anymore. I'm just going to let it grow out. I'm going to condition it. I'm going to use very gentle shampoos. So now 2 months later, you're going to have like this much growth, about 2 centimeters, right? And you're thinking, no, this is not helping because my hair is still damaged. Yes, the ends are going to be damaged from the peroxide because the gentle shampoo and the conditioner is going to help the ends, but it's not going to make it like the new hair. So at least with nails, it doesn't take as long as with hair, because if I damaged my whole hair, it would take probably 3 years for this to be as long and, like to get the length. So it just has to grow out. And your damage is quite significant, I have to say. But you see, this is what happens. The nail polish bonds to the top surface of the nail. And according to some information that I came across, one from Dr. Vivian Valenti, who's a chemist, she says she has this theory that the nitrocellulose, which is usually the main film-forming ingredient in a nail polish, it can break down back to nitric acid. The nitric acid, I guess it can come out of the nail polish. Nitric acid is very corrosive. So this is how they achieve nitrocellulose. It's nitric acid and cellulose. So it's nitrocellulose. The nitric acid, again, it's corrosive. It has a small molecule, so it can absorb even through the base coat into the first layers of the nail plate. And it can oxidize them, so it can damage them. And what happens is now you don't really have a dry surface of the nail, although it looks dry. You have damaged surface. So now the cells are just not bonded together very well. And they look a little loose. So what people usually do, nail technicians and everybody else, they're like, oh, it's a little dry. The nail is a little dry, so I'm just going to remove that dry layer. It's the same as people do with the skin. So the skin seems dry, so they just say, okay, I'm going to remove that dryness. But that's not how you fix the dryness. And with the nail, it's even worse, because the nail does not grow from underneath. It grows from here, okay? So the surface that is damaged it cannot heal, it cannot build up from underneath. So once these layers are gone, they're gone forever. They just have to grow out. So this damaged part, you have almost like a half nail missing. So what happens is once they remove those layers, the dry layers, and now they put nail polish on, guess what is going to happen? So it's going to damage now those lower layers. So that removal looks better, but it's making things worse. So let's say you have 100 layers in your nail. Now you put nail polish on your nail. That nail polish, in your case, maybe damaged, let's say 5 layers of the nail. So now you remove that 5 layers. So now you have 95 layers. You put another coat of polish. The nail takes at least almost 2 years to grow out in some cases. So if you do that every month, okay, so now you have 95 layers. Now you put the polish on that 95th layer, and then you wear it for a month. So the polish could damage another 5 layers. So then you take it off. Now those 94th layer, 93rd, whatever, 4th, 3rd, whatever, 90 is now damaged. So then what do they do? They take off that 5 layers. Now you're left with 90 layers. Okay, next month you're polishing your nails, and then it gets deeper and deeper. The problem is with nails is that not all the layers are the same. The first 30% of the nail, so that let's say the first 30 layers, is responsible for, let's just kind of call it in a very simple way, protecting the nail. So it's a protection layer. So if that layer is removed, the lower layers are even easier to be damaged. So now it just gets worse and worse until it gets like this. The oil is going to help. It's not going to fix anything. It's just going to help plasticize the nail, and it just fill in those little spots. So once you put oil on top of these nails now, like a very penetrating light oil, like jojoba, actually, which is not even an oil. Jojoba is a liquid wax, but you put it on. So now this oil is going to go into those little grooves, and it's going to cover them, which doesn't mean that it fixed it, but now it's protecting those layers. And each time you apply the oil is going to get a little bit deeper into the nail, and it's just going to fill in those little gaps, and it's going to help it. I was actually very surprised how many people use bar soaps, which are very alkaline and very drying. So it's not the issue with bad or good ingredients, it's just that those soaps are very alkaline, and when they are alkaline, the skin swells, the nail swells. This is how we remove cuticle. We put alkaline product on the nail for 1 minute, and then we rinse it off. We gently remove the cuticle. But if you do that all the time, then eventually the nail swells, and the soap also removes the oils from the nail. So it removes the cholesterol. It removes all the things that keep your nail together, and it makes things worse. So what I would recommend, either the Isden pen or the OPI, the Isden SI pen, actually this one, okay, used twice a day, every day, and you can use it all the time. It will kind of seal the layers a little bit. So it's not going to obviously rebuild the nail. And this is how some of the companies kind of market their products, even how OPI markets it. It says that it repairs 99% of keratin, but if you have that keratin, your keratin, half of it is gone. You can see there's like a hole in here, right? Just loose nail and then removed cells, and so you have like a missing layers. And why this is happening to some people and not happening to others, who knows? It could be the type of nail polish that some of them might just be more damaging. It is the case than others. And then it also could be that sometimes some people's nails just have very strong bonds between the cells, between the layers, okay? So if the layers are kept together very strong and the nail is very thick, sometimes you might not, I mean, often you don't see as much damage, but not everybody is like that. Some people, for example, also have dry skin. I can have oily skin. I can wash my face with a gentle soap, and I don't even need creams because my skin is naturally oily. But another person does the same thing with the same cream and is the same cleanser, and they're going to have very dry skin. So in your case, you maybe that your nails are not held very tightly. together. So the OPI repair mode, apparently it's supposed to help those things. So it would be a good prevention, I think, for you. But it's so it says it's going to rebuild the 99% of bonds of keratin. Well, whatever keratin you have. So if you have 50% of keratin, it might help that, right? But it's not going to be a miracle. It's not going to rebuild it. More nail polish is going to cause more damage for sure. Now, I would recommend using the oil, using some kind of urea-based cream. So Carousel would be a very, very good idea. Just put it a little dab and just massage it into the skin and the nail. The urea is a very good moisturizer. It repairs, it helps to repair skin barrier, so that's always very good. And it's going to help the little calloused areas. The skin is going to look much better and healthier. It has glycerin, which also is a moisturizer. It has some salicylic acid, which don't be afraid of the acid. It's just going to exfoliate the skin a little bit around the nails. It's going to probably help to exfoliate that cuticle, so it's easier to remove it. And again, when they were cutting the skin, they don't. So here's a cuticle. Tell me, how can you cut it? You can't cut it. This is just like skin cells. So if people are cutting something, they're cutting the skin fold. Although I have to say one thing. Sometimes for some people, the cuticle is so strongly, I guess, bonded that in the corners, and I find that in the corners, sometimes you can cut it with the nippers. And you sometimes see me do that when I do pedicures, but I'm not cutting the skin. I'm actually cutting the cuticle. But that's very uncommon, and when people are cutting something, they're cutting the skin. It's really risky and it's not necessary. You can just nudge it back very gently with a gentle tool. Use the Carousel, then the cuticle is going to exfoliate in a much healthier manner. I've seen a difference where, let's say, we do, even before I started using Dazzle Dry, I would, for example, do monthly pedicures for clients. And then around October, you know, it was cold in Canada, so October was like winter time almost. People would just kind of leave that nail polish on and then just cut their nails. And they would come back in April or March, before March break, with the nail polish grown out to here. Half the nail was polished. So you would think, because I didn't have to use acetone to remove it monthly, that the nail would be actually better and less dry. But no, the surface damage was quite significant after 3 or 4 months. So October, November, December, January, February. Yeah, 4 months of having that nail polish on. And it would not be due to chipping, because some people blame, okay, because maybe the people chipped it off. No, the polish was still on. They were just clipping their nails. It was perfectly on, but underneath the surface, the nail was quite yellow and quite damaged. So I really do not absolutely agree with the notion that it is the removers, the acetone, that causes this. This is not acetone. Because once your nail grows out, if you rub it with acetone every single day, you're never going to get this, ever. I can guarantee you, I can put 1,000, euros on it, that you're not gonna get this surface damage from wiping your nails with acetone every single day, okay? This is due to wearing a nail polish, for sure. And wearing nail polish all the time on a surface that might be compromised, just your nail might be weaker that way. So this is it. So I would just remember not to wear the nail polish for too long. And then let's say if you want to wear nail polish from now on, it's very good idea to not to wear it for too long. Again, if you want to take it off after 3 weeks and then just do your treatments. Or what you can also do, what the OPI recommends, which I think in your case would be a good idea, to, once you get a pedicure, apply the OPI repair mode only in the growth area, okay? So the new growth. So possibly this is happening as well to you because your natural nail structure is just maybe a little bit not as tight, okay? So it could be that when you're applying here, the OPI, you're strengthening the nail, and this might not happen again, especially if you take the nail polish off after 3 days and do the OPI treatment again, use the Isden pen, and you're using oil all the time on the nails as well. This is another thing that could be very helpful, and I don't know why that happens. There are a few theories. I think part of the damage is because the keratin is being oxidized, which there is a study that I'll send you. It suggests that the nail polish can cause oxidative damage. So, and that damage was not present as much when an antioxidant was used. Now, it's very difficult to repeat what they did because I don't know, I can't remember which kind of antioxidant they use. They probably use it before the polish application. I don't know. But it seems to me that maybe, and I actually have seen it where people use oil all the time. I mean, all the time on the feet once a day after you wash your, after you take a shower once or twice a day, and you just rub in some jojoba, sweet almond. They have a lot of vitamin E in them as well, which is antioxidant. So could be that is helping as well. So definitely using the carousel overnight, even if you have nail polish on, using the oil, which not only helps the skin, but it could be helping the coating. Maybe it makes the coating more flexible, so it bends with the nail more. I don't know. Another thing that I would recommend is maybe getting Dazzle Dry nail polish. But I find this happens way less with Dazzle Dry. Um, Less. It can still happen, but truthfully, it does not happen for my clients from constant Dazzle Dry use, but it does happen with regular polish use. So, but again, I can't guarantee it because if you have like a weak bonds between your nail, it could be damaging as well. And some people do have surface damage even from Dazzle Dry. Again, a little bit less. So that's about it. Support that nail as the nail is growing, and limit water exposure, and just protect the nail as much as you can.